From the plains of Africa to the shores of America, a formidable and unprecedented debt crisis has taken root, siphoning the fruits of progress. This isn't just a local woe, it's a global symphony of financial alarm bells. A dire trend unfolds as more nations grapple with insurmountable debts, edging closer to the precipice. About 25% of developing economies and a staggering 60% of low-income countries find themselves ensnared in or teetering on the edge of this financial abyss. Even among the ranks of emerging economies, 54 nations wrestle with a major debt crisis, impacting a modest 3% of the world economy, yet embracing 18% of the global population and over half of those entrenched in severe poverty. Adding to the symphony of concerns, a $62 billion annual debt payment looms large for these nations, a 35% surge from 2021, casting shadows on the sustainability of these escalating debt burdens. Over the past decade, a mounting concern has cast its shadow over the world of global finance. A troubling tale of escalating external debt, particularly haunting emerging economies and impoverished nations, has emerged as a harbinger of economic sluggishness, market turbulence, and worldwide fiscal fragility. Recent events, such as the far-reaching ripples of the pandemic and the eruption of the Ukraine conflict, have only thrown fuel on this fire. Brace yourselves for what lies ahead in 2023, as ominous signs and looming events suggest a further downward spiral of this debt dilemma, even amid prevailing economic constraints. The year 2022 was a year of extraordinary events, a series of dominoes set in motion. An unexpectedly deep global economic downturn, paired with an inflation surge of unparalleled proportions, has gnarled the fabric of our cost of living, intensifying financial hardships across regions. Governments and businesses find themselves grappling with mounting debts in the face of these harsh realities. As the political landscape rumbled, investor confidence was jolted by resurfacing crises and fresh upheavals. From the Taiwan tension to African coups and Latin American unrest, the seismic shock of the Ukraine conflict sent reverberations that rattled the world's economic foundation, casting a shadow over the overall state of affairs. Currency tumult added to the turmoil, with major currencies tumbling unexpectedly. This shift struck a blow to nations grappling with foreign debt, as the burden of repayment grew heavier amidst depreciating currencies. The compounding effect of currency devaluation and escalating bank rates became a defining feature of the debt crisis. In a financial roller coaster ride, the global debt mountain scaled dizzying heights, surging by a staggering $8.3 trillion in the first quarter, nearly grazing a monumental $305 trillion mark. The Institute of International Finance's gripping report revealed that this ascent was driven by a tense tango between ballooning debt levels and the tightening embrace of rising interest rates, setting off alarm bells about financial leverage. Central banks globally have been cranking up interest rates for over a year in their quest to tame rampant inflation. The latest hike from the U.S. Federal Reserve propelled its Fed funds rate to a jaw-clenching range of 5% to 5.25%, not seen since the pre-2008 era. The report paints a vivid picture of financial conditions at their most straitjacketed since the dark days of the 2008 crisis. The outcome? A haunting potential for a credit squeeze, spawning more zombie firms that already make up nearly 14% of U.S.-listed companies. This spine-tingling rise in debt during the first 3 months of the year marked a back-to-back surge, shadowing last year's vigorous monetary tightening. As the curtain rises, non-financial corporations and governments take the spotlight, driving the revival of this financial drama. With a debt stagecraft flirting with $305 trillion, the plot thickens as this figure leaps to an astounding $45 trillion higher than its pre-pandemic self, with no signs of hitting pause. Age populations, healthcare costs, and the looming climate finance gap add their weight, straining government balance sheets. National defense spending adds another twist, promising a suspenseful future for governments and corporations alike. Emerging markets take center stage, shattering records with a debt crescendo that scales more than $100 trillion, equivalent to a towering 250% of GDP. Among the rising stars are China, Mexico, Brazil, India, and Turkey, etching their names in the annals of debt. In the arena of developed markets, it's Japan, the US, France, and the UK that steal the limelight with their quarter-on-quarter leaps. The tale of the global debt saga unfolds, punctuated by the haunting question: will this crescendo of debt notes reach a chilling crescendo in international markets, especially if the specter of higher interest rates looms longer? In a whirlwind of financial turbulence, recent months have seen small and mid-sized banks in the U.S. grappling with frail liquidity positions due to swift monetary policy tightening. This unforeseen scenario triggered a domino effect of collapses and bailouts, setting off a market panic that eventually transcended continents, leading to the emergency sale of Credit Suisse to UBS in Switzerland. The International Institute of Finance, IIF, shed light on a fascinating phenomenon it dubbed a crisis of adaptation within corporations, brought about by what is termed as a new monetary regime. While the current wave of bank failures appears more isolated than systemic, deposit withdrawals from U.S. regional banks have been significant due to fear of contagion. This rings alarm bells, as these regional banks play a pivotal role in credit intermediation, potentially resulting in a severe pullback in lending to underserved households and businesses. Such credit contradictions might bear heavily on small businesses, as warned by the IIF, leading to heightened default rates and the rise of what they aptly term zombie firms. Picture these as companies teetering between financial life and death, with earnings enough to keep them operating and cover debt interest, but not to chip away at the debt itself. It's a precarious state where any cash generated is instantly devoured by debt, leaving the company in a limbo-like existence. The IIF's estimation that roughly 14% of U.S. firms could fall under this zombie category is a staggering revelation, with healthcare and information technology sectors being particularly affected. As we navigate this intricate financial landscape, understanding these dynamics becomes crucial to grasp the pulse of the economy and the challenges that lie ahead. In a world where economic challenges loom large, the power to avert disaster rests in the hands of the developed nations. Starting by resolving the Ukraine conflict can provide a crucial opening for addressing the economic crisis and debt burden. But solutions don't end there. Crafting manageable debt agreements, strategic monetary policies, and seeking international aid are steps that hold promise. Fundamental economic reforms, too, can breathe new life into growth. The world stands at a crossroads. Timely actions from the guardians of humanity can rewrite the fate of nations and humanity itself. The choice is clear: to step up or risk a future marred by the weight of inaction. Stay tuned for more exciting and informative updates around the globe by subscribing to Fortune Star.